We'll continue with our poem Elegy Written in a Country Churchyard. These are the last few lines of the poem and the closing lines. The next with dirges due in sad array, slow through the churchway path we saw him borne. Approach and read, for thou canst read the lay graved on the stone beneath yon aged thorn. So the speaker here is again reminding us of the same old image of the old villager, and he continues to imagine what an old villager would say about him after his death. And on the third day after the speaker didn't show up, the old villager says that dirges, that is funeral songs, were played, and that they saw the speaker carried slowly along the path to the church in a funeral procession. Means it indicates that the old villager who was waiting for him to appear, now after 3 days have passed, they have realized, or they have come to know, that he has died. And it is because they see the funeral songs playing and a funeral procession was going on the way to the church. The villager invites the random passerby who asked to read the epitaph that is engraved on the speaker's tombstone underneath the gnarly old thorn bush. Aged thorn bush means an old thorn bush beneath which there was a tombstone and there was a epitaph written on it. Now is the epitaph. Here rests his head upon the lap of earth, a youth to fortune and to fame unknown. Fair science frowned not on his humble birth, and melancholy marked him for her own. Now we are supposed to imagine that we, like the kindred spirit which the poet had earlier talked about, who asked about the dead speaker, are reading Gray's imagined epitaph, that is for himself. Yes, but we may admit that it's a sort of very strange thing. This is where the speaker is resting his head on the ground. It's a metaphor that dead people don't really rest their heads anywhere because they are dead. They don't have a free will. And earth is being personified when the speaker imagines that it could have a lap. Means the earth was like a lap for the dead person. The speaker calls himself a young person who is unknown both to fortune, that is good luck or wealth, and to fame. In other words, he was a humble birth, means he didn't achieve much in his life, but at least he was no stranger to knowledge or science in spite of his humble origins. He was a scholar and a poet. We see some personification here which like the nouns fame, fortune, science, melancholy are all capitalized, so they are personified. Large was his bounty and his soul sincere. Heaven did a recompense as largely send. He gave to misery all he had, a tear. He gained from heaven a friend. So the poet says that though the villager had humble beginnings, but he did pretty well for himself. He was quite generous and sincere, and heaven paid him back. Means he had received good things from heaven or from our Father because of his good qualities. The speaker gave everything he had to his depression. Misery, in other words, his tears. But heaven gave him something pretty great, that is, a friend. The speaker is probably referring to his friend, that is Richard West. Here, no farther seek his merits to disclose, or draw his frailties from their dread abode. There they alike in trembling hope repose, the bosom of his Father and his God. So the poet is saying that don't try to find out more or anything more about the dead speaker's good points, and don't even try to dig up any dirt or bad points or frailties also. So both his good and his bad points are in repose or resting, hoping for eternal life in heaven with God. That means that after one is dead, one should not talk about his good or bad points, because he has done what is good for him or what he could do in his life, and now he has gone to his resting place, hoping for an eternal life in heaven with God. Thank you.